Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of our group, we warmly welcome all faculty members, students, and guests joining us today. Thank you for taking the time to be a part of this seminar. My name is Mia Clarice Ignacio.
And I'm Amonpong Aswapong Pungkit, which we are serving as MC for today's seminars.
We are pleased to have you with us as we explore important topic in urban design and architecture. Our seminar today is entitled as Urban Revitalization and Reclaiming Dead Spaces.
So this topic focuses on how designers can bring new life to underutilized urban areas by applying practical strategies that maximize the use of the public space to the communities.
Today, we are honored to have with us Mr. Phat Chapanon, a registered architect and landscape architect in Thailand with over 12 years of professional experience in urban and landscape design. He currently serves as a junior associate director and design director of SHMA Company Limited, where he leads projects focused on sustainable urban development and spatial planning.
So it is a great pleasure to welcome our distinguished guest speaker, Mr. Phat Chapanon. Please join us in giving him a warm welcome.
Hi, everyone. Okay, so yeah, my name is Phat, and as you MC already introduced me, so I'm landscape architect at SHMA Design. So today we're going to talk about urban revitalization through the projects. But to begin with, may I introduce our company so you guys get to know more how our philosophy can be applied and how design principle can be adapted into real life projects. So, okay, SHMA. So I will begin with a short video introductions about Okay, so let's start with SHMA. SHMA means Earth. So I think our philosophy is we enable change for the better Earth. So we do landscape architect to placemaking process and try to find a way that nature and public space can be in their everyday life. So we just not just like create a landscape architectures or like create a place, but we decide a place for life, which adopt like inclusivity, sustainability, and resilience into our like design thinkings. So in every projects that we have done, so we start with like defining the problems and try to find a way to create and generate the idea through different process and through, and then of course we use the data to be like the backbone of the projects when we are designing something. And also I think part of like the process that is very crucial is co-creation process that we usually do time to times with the clients, and also like different stakeholders try to define the key and the pain point of the projects. And finally, the prototyping. It is the things that we try to do to test the projects and to test the design that is suitable for the place or not. And not just like the process that we have done, but we also focus on like how to make the projects like differently and try to make the projects like more sustainably. So we create like the SHMA index, which this is like the main milestone in our project that we have done. So in terms of like sustainable index that we have developed, so we try to focus on like health and well-being, inclusivity, landscape biodiversity, water management, and circularity. So I think those kind of things is like the philosophy that we have adopted into our project and design thinkings. So here you can see like our project and our design that we have done is not just like the project itself, but also is talk about in the wider pictures from like the master planning point of view, or like ecologically based design from planting design. Then we go to like the construction and research stuff and try to make sure like the design that we have done answer of like the challenge that we have faced on into the projects. And of course, like we are landscape architect firms. So I think biodiversity is like very crucial thing that we have to taking into account when we decide the projects. So we spend a lot of like time and spend a lot of resource in terms of try to like find a solution that have the ecological base to be a part of the projects. And then through of that, the project that we have done, so we touch base in every scale of the projects, from like residential, like road rise, to like the master planning, to the urban revitalization of placemakings. So I think the main topic that we're gonna talk like later on is about like public space and urban revitalization. So I think those of kind of like projects have like a very like unique way of thinking, even if the park or even the placemaking or experimental design. So I will gonna explain this kind of design thinking and the process later on, but to get you a glimpse what we have done. So I think those kind of projects also consider as like the design and landscape, need the landscape to be part of that process as well. So we not do only the project in Thailand, but we try to expand our like projects in across the regions in South beyond Southeast Asia, in Asia, or in like America, or in UAE as well. So I think to talk about what we design, I think have to be come back how we design. So we try to create like the creativity system in terms of the ecosystem that we have developed in our office. Try to define as like the campus. Then when the people meet and learn and develop like the skill set through like interactions in everyday life. So I think in our company we call it like squad. You can see right now. So we have like 7 like different squash in our department, which have like different like expertise and the way of thinking, the way of like they deliver the work according to their specialists, from landscape architect, horticulturist team, which focus on like planting design, or even like R&D team that we try to find a new solution for the new like a breakthrough of the landscape design. So so I think we have quite a lot of like experience from like 19 years already, and then over 100 projects that we have finished so far. So then that is like the short introduction about our company, SHMA, and how like the design philosophy and our vision that can that bring into the project and how we design the project. So to begin with the main topic that we're gonna discuss today, and I'm gonna show you through all like the process of thinking. So the topic is reimagine our city through the public space. So to begin with, I think we have to understand like what is the public space and how it's developed like from the history point of view. As you can see in this slide, so on the left side is like the city development. Of course, I think most of you already know like our city from the history like developed from the rivers, and then they start spreading out. And then nowadays, like people like turn their back into like a natural resource, which is a river, and then they develop the city through like the car-centric urban developments. So most of the times, like these kind of happen all around the world, especially in Bangkok, that we don't have like the proper like design master planning and the proper like solution in order to develop the city along with the nature. So we end up with like we develop like a lot of like gray area, like car-centric like city, which we spend almost like 800 hours in a car per year in Thailand, in Bangkok. So I think those kind of development, like car-centric like developments, like this bring to another like problem underneath of them. Of course, they will like urbanize the city, but then like they're gonna have some area that underutilized from this kind of like urban development like direction, which is like the the expressway or the infrastructure that government like left behind from like develop those kind of infrastructures, or even some like place, some space from the private property. They are like keep it like vacant for non-purpose use, or maybe they just wait for like the policy that maybe like come after in the next 10 years to make like their projects more like even gain more value or something like that. So that those kind of like space can be abandoned in like our city. Or even if like the government has that land to develop some park or some like public space, but those public space, as you can see, like from time to time or oftenly, is not like properly utilized. So it can be just like the park, just like that space, but not give the real purpose of the park to the people. Then when they have to that they can use. Because by those of things, I think the problem is because the lack of participations. So I think the participation is very crucial elements that bring that space into the projects, and then some space that in our city is also abandoned, and also like even if like there's some potential that they can develop, that there's still like a lot of space here in Bangkok that's still abandoned, and usually it's like just like green space that not utilized, and a lot of like vacant and something like that. So that brings to the question like as our role as a landscape architect or like urban planners, so we design or destroy. So I think that's bring like the big question to us. So I think to answer that question, I think we have to come back and try to define these two words, space and place. So I think that's two words that quite different in terms of like in terms of like the definitions. We should like focus on decide the place, not space. place that mean like the space that have life in it, have an activity, have the people engagement, not just like the empty land which is nobody going to use. So I think that is the crucial elements and the thing that we have to consider when we are designing everything. And also we have to understand how like the urban development or the green space can be the part of like the climate adaptation principle as well. Since nowadays, like a lot of like city facing a lot of like problem, as you can see, right? From like flood or like pollution or those kind of things. So I think as a landscape architect or as a like a green space, that can be like adaptive too to help the city live with like this kind of like challenge or disaster that we facing like nowadays. So I think landscape architectures and urban projects is not just only the project that talk about the meaning of the space itself, but it has to like speak like in overall language with like a lot of element in the city. So it should be a part of like infrastructure that connect everything, like from social infrastructure, health infrastructure, or even like a biodiversity infrastructure. So I think in terms of like the landscape projects and urban project has to be adopt this kind of like principle. So that come back another layer of like creating a meaningful projects. So we think like the project is not just like the aesthetic design purpose, but I think the projects or the design have to be speak out in terms of how it can be help, how it can help like the project like facing through a lot of like challenge that we're facing. So by using the landscape architecture, we can use like nature-based design that combine engineering to those projects that can help give the function of landscape in another levels. And another layer that quite important as well when we design the project is stakeholder engagement. I think like this kind of like stakeholder engagement is the crucial process when we design the projects. So it helps to understand how like the people or the community needs in the project. So it can define and it can help and answer the right question or answer the right solution to the project that we are facing. So not only just we create like the hardware, which is the space, right? But I think the peopleware is very important as well to help make the project is very like successful in terms of like the public space and urban revitalization projects. So the process by like introduce this kind of like another like element or another tool, which is peopleware, I think enhance the knowledge also be a part of the process when people like engage in the projects like from time to time, and then we bit by bits like introduce the knowledge to them so they can understand like how like the project should be, how the space could be. So that could be like the very powerful tools that helps the project success when we're talking about the public space. And then that kind of like thing can be opportunity for the creation. So that process we define as a mechanism. So I think in terms of doing the projects, it's not just only like we are designing right as a designers, or we are just like the contractor or something like that, or we are just like the owner. But I think the mechanism is very important. What is the mechanism? I think the mechanism is something related to like the platform, something that try to like buy together like those kind of like different approach stakeholder from like government point of view or private point of view or even like the community point of view. Those kind of mechanisms like help us to like look ahead to the goal in the same page, so we can know like what exactly that we want, what it exactly they want. Also, that kind of things, this kind of mechanism really help in terms of defining like the problem and try to and we can like overcome like the challenge that that project is facing right now. So to begin with, like the public space and urban revitalization, it's not necessary to be the project that's very big, like mega projects or like a bigger project or something like that. I think a public space is can be in every scale, from like very small scale, from like a very neighborhood scale, district scale, or public scale, but it can be in different like form. Sometimes you do some kind of very small interventions, but it can help in terms of generate something that impact to like the bigger scale or city scale, something like that. But it has to be in the same like relation. So the project have to be speak and like cohesion in the issue that we are facing in the bigger picture. So some element have to be contribute to another elements. So I think that those kind of like the frameworks of the projects and how we create like the projects for the public space. To begin with this kind of like principle, I will introduce you the example of the project that we have done, which is like through the process that I have already like explained earlier in terms of the principles. So the first project is called like Launch Park, which is like the projects in the recent design week. I think you most of you guys has already like participate on this kind of like design week event. So I think this project is talk about like the space that is the third place, which is like already there, but it is not that unutilized properly. So we try to find a definition of the place, what it can be, try to give like the new idea to the projects that is how it can be. So I think the main idea or the main theme of like the third place that we are talking and we try to introduce is from like health and well-being like perspective. So we try to give like the big question to like the people that what if like the space that already there but it's not unutilized can be the space that encourage health and well-being from like through sense that we have already known, like sixth sense, right? From seeing, from hearing, from like smell, from touching, something like that, through the landscape design and tools. So I think one of like the small like projects in that design week that we introduced in Launch Parks, we call it Long Hill. So it's talk about like the green space at the cooling spots. So as you can see, like this is two comparison of like the projects. The left side is like the civic centers in Bangkok metropolitan, right? It's gray, it's very hard, and it's very hot, and there's nobody gonna use them. So we try to find a different like definition and purpose of this kind of public space. What if like this can be turned into like the green space for the people can be paused, can be sit there, can be utilized as like the cooling spots of the city. So this is like the idea we try to define a different like activity or different like function into this kind of like mini park that what landscape can be play to these projects, from like a space that people can sit, or even we introduce some kind of like waters for cooling elements or some shading from pavilion or something like that, or even like we introduce some like planting that can give like the sensory like planting that you can sit and you can smell for the fragrance like planting, something like that. So in the end, it's very like the project is like ephemeral. It's just like 1 or 2 weeks, but it can give like a big impact to the people and try to give like opportunity to the people that can imagine how the public space could be. And in the end, like we try to like measure a lot of like data from these projects. We work with like Thammasat University, try to like get the data from like before and after. So in the end, it turned out like it's really helped to cool down the environments. When we install the projects, like the temperature is dropped like 2 degrees. So it can be this can be shown to like the publics or to the government or to like different like stakeholder. Like, what if we have like a lot of this kind of intervention? It can really help like the society in terms of like the health and well-being, or even like environment like impacts. So you can see another elements as a green space. It's not just only like give in terms of health and well-being benefits, but it can be some kind of like tools to help like for like the bigger scale like disaster, for example, like flood mitigation. So these projects, Suan Phupa Mahanathi, it is like public space. It's a public park, which before that, this space is like vacant. It's not vacant. It's like the gray space for the parking lot in Chatuchak area next to the Chatuchak Park. So in the end, like we have talked to like the stakeholder, to the government, something try to like reimagine this kind of space to be a park. So the process of doing that, we try to use like a nature-based solution to overcome this kind of like design thinking, and use like the water management techniques to be a part of the process, or to be a main feature of the park. So in the end, like we create a park by using like water management techniques, and give like the space back to like the public space that people can use, not just parking. And we work with a lot of like consultant, engineer, try to like define the proper like solution and calculation that if we design this park, it have to be really help in terms of like flood mitigation, which is like the big problem that Bangkok like facing nowadays. So in this picture, you can see like this park is quite resilient. So during the dry season, it's just a park. So it serves as like the public park. But when like the monsoons come, or when it's a heavy rain in Bangkok, it can really help to like be a place that can be detention waters into the projects. You can see in the picture, this is like the project after the heavy rain in Bangkok. So the project itself, we design in terms of the resilient way that can be detention and retention area for the projects. And you can see like the park itself, or the landscape itself, is not just like the aesthetic purpose, but also give like a different like function and purpose to the city in terms of the infrastructure as well. Another kind of projects that I want to like get you through to like this kind of like public space and urban revitalization is something related to like unutilized infrastructure from like the city development, which is like under expressway that there can become like the green network. So I think this project, we try to like draw some visions to the government, that what if like this kind of like network that have already there in terms of the expressway, how we can combine the green area into that and create like the bigger scale impact to the city, that bind together like people, society, and community, and even like generate like biodiversity back to Bangkok. So I will. Okay, as you can see from the video, I think this the project itself try to speak in terms of bigger vision in terms of the project, the ambitions, the vision that 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 um, that try to think beyond like the project itself, but also the city scale, how like this kind of network can be like the part of like green infrastructure. So I think the strategy is quite very simple. Try to like bring back like green space, public space through like this kind of network that have already there. Mhm. So in the end, like we try to propose this to the government, and then like one of the projects that success in terms of the bigger like vision that be a part of that kind of like a vision like proposed to the government is like Lankila Phat 2 under expressway as a park connector. I think these projects like answer a lot of questions that the through like the public space principle and urban revitalization process. So as you already know from that from the process, this like the space is like the vacant not kind of vacant area, but this is like unutilized space under the expressway. um, Nearby this kind of like this nearby this space, it has like the community live by there, so people younger or elders used to come here to like use the space for like relaxing for playing some sport, but it's not like the proper space that they can use. So we use the kind of process. This is a powerful process which is like the participatory process. So we begin with like this kind of process to talk with the community, to have the workshop with the community through the brainstorm to get the idea generation, how like the community really needs in terms of like the function through these like projects. And then in the end, like the participatory process is not just like the one time like event that just like you just like hold the event and then poof, it's just read that, but it has to be like ongoing process to a different like stage, from the pre-process, from the beginning, talk to the client, talk to the community, or even like when the project is like constructing, we use this kind of process as well to educate them in terms of like be a part of this project. So we try to create like we call it the sense of belonging. So I think like this is like very powerful like tools that public space really needs, because once like people belong to that place, they're gonna be in touch with that kind of projects at the community space. And then in the end, you can see like the space is not just like from design from like designer point of view, but design from the community point of view. So the space that you already seen here is being like the space from their really needs, the sport field, like the space that they can use that can like answers like a different like kind of approach in terms of function. Another models another project that we have tried to like spin off from that successful projects of Lankila 2 is Sangtip Sport Ground. I think this kind of like project is similar principle as like previous project, but I think this project is quite unique because it, it it's engaged it's engaged more on with like the private sector, because on this area it's close to like a Sansiri like company, which is like the developer like company, right? And then they have like their own like residential like condo around there. So I think these projects like we try to do in the same context, the space underneath the expressway, but we talk to the talk to the private sector as well, try to make them feel like these projects have to be happen because it can be held in terms of value generator of their product, something like that. So in the end, like we engage like community that live nearby, and also like we talk to the sensory to be like main sponsor into this project. And then community and developer are work together. So in the end, like we kind of create some kind of bonding between like private sector and community to make like the society be a part the same spirit. So that kind of process is can help like when you developing the public space that have some like a private sector in that loop as well. So another project that in terms of the public spaces in the same condition, again, this is like the series of under expressway, but it's called a pump park. This project is not like really happen. I mean, it is just like ephemeral projects. The project that just give the vision to the city or the public space that what can really be. So as I explained, sometimes the projects of the public space or urban revitalization can be something is very like pop-up thing. It's necessary to start something very big, very long time process, but something that can be like ignite like the way of thinking of the people. So in the end, like we talk to like a different like stakeholder from like a public government stakeholder and work with like the embassy and try to like give the vision to like the space, how the space can be. So I think this is just like the open door to the next opportunity that can be happen. So sometime maybe next 5 years this project can be happen, but we use this kind of projects try to get like the opening, like the floor is open to everybody to join to making the public space to the city. So one another project is quite very important in SHMA because it's like a V Park. So V Park is developed based on like the principle of like we try to be a platform to create like a park. So what is a platform that we are defining in terms of the V Park? So as the V Park, we try to engage a lot of like stakeholder from like private sector, government sector, academic sector, like professional sector. This kind of like potential stakeholder, I think they have like their own or different like angle point of view. I think what if like we create some kind of like V Park, try to bring and these kind of people on the table and to talk, to share the same goal and vision that can be bring something to the projects. So in terms of the V Park, we use the inclusivity process from like the pre-process that talk to the community, find like the space together from that can be opportunity to be developed, and then we talk with the stakeholder and create the space together and manage together. And then we use like a lot of tools to empowering people to that process. And that kind of like process and project that we have done, I think it's speak in terms of like sustainability, is like from community point of view to like the building infrastructure and biodiversity. In the end, like right now currently, this V Park like try to like make like a pop-up park as much as possible in Bangkok. As you can see, this is the map that we have already like worked as like a V Park to develop the pocket park to the city. One of like the memorable like projects as the V Park is the first project is like Wat Phor Lampong Rukhanivet Pocket Park. I think this is very great example how like the public space or like the park space can be happen like to like 100% like crowd funding. So we even if like sometimes like this kind of space or public space is necessary to like invest a lot, but we have to invest in terms of the process, try to find the right solution, right process to make it happen. So these like projects, we begin with like we walk to like this kind of like this district with like the Chulalongkorn University students and the government sector try to find like the right spot that can be utilized to the space. And then we find out like there is some space like next to like the Wat Ho Lampong, which is already vacant, and then it's the government land, which is not developing yet. And then also like uh, next is like the Ashton condominium. So again, like this kind of combination is quite strong, that you have like government sector, you have private sector, and you have like academic sector that be a part of this project. So we begin with like talking to like a different like stakeholder again, like try to understand like what the neighbor really want, what the community really want. So we use a different technique. Sometimes we use like brainstorming and workshop, right? And then in this project we use like, we call it as mock-up park. We try to create like very like small intervention, like very like easy to do, like not like very low budget to be invest. Try to like give the vision to the community. What if like this kind of working space can be the part that people can sit, can enjoy, or the children can play, what it's gonna be. And then we use this kind of like event to like talk to the community, try to decide the zoning together with the community. And in the end, like this is a planning from the needs. The client is the community, right? So I think this is like quite like very strong function, because it's really like a speak and answer like the needs of the people very clearly. So in the end, like we try to use a lot of event to crowdfunding the projects. And then this is like the design result from like from we come back and design based on the needs, rendering to, and then as you can see, we create like the crowdfunding platform. We work with Tejai Foundation to like get the money to be invested to these projects. And in the end, like this project is really happen from that kind of like help with the community and society together. So the park is like nowadays can be like a community park for the people and kids that live nearby. And from time to time, it can be like be a place for like activity and events that that generate like and speak itself, be a role model to the next park that gonna happen next. So in the end, it's quite powerful process to talk about the park. Another kind of project is quite memorable again, is like Suan San Pocket Park. I think this park is, we try to transform the abandoned like private space to the green space or the park space. As you can see, like this kind of like project is situated like next to the Chopra River, and it have a lot of potential turning to like the public space and the park, because in that district there's no like proper park that people can use. And then Suan San like community is very strong community, that they have like a lot of like multi-generation people that live nearby, from like children, from like younger generations, or through like the elderly. So I think in terms of the culture aspect is quite important as well. So we begin with like finding the place together and talk with like the government sector, how we gonna turn it to the public space. And then we ask for funding from them. And then we use like the process as we explained earlier, in terms of like talk with the stakeholder, do some kind of like a brainstorming to the process of participatory process. And in the end, like we started the project in 2020, and then the project is like end up like just like 2025. So in the end, like because of like it speaks itself in terms of the cultural value. So we try to like the design by respect this kind of the element is already there, by using like the color or the bricks or the pattern or something like that that can be happening already there. So the project itself is not like shining off by itself, but it's like speak humbly with like with the neighborhood like context, by like the color, by the design pattern or something like that. In the end, like this project is like the showcase showing how like this process is quite important by like engaging like the right like stakeholder, and those space can really become like the public space and urban revitalization that can help like the city like be a better place, or that space can help in well-being for the people or the citizen. Okay, so I think so. This is the last part. So when we talk about the public space and urban revitalization projects, so I think we have to understand like when we create like this kind of public space, it doesn't mean that we can like copy and paste that kind of projects in every city, in every space that we have in the city. But I think we have to customize them in the different like scale, different like context, different like approach, because like in different like district or different like space, it has their own like challenge, it has their own like story. So I think the real success of the project of the public space is to understand them, to this kind of process, to talk with the people, to understand the site condition, and then public space can be the place that serve like the real purpose of the city, be a place that can be support health and well-being for the people, be a place that can mitigate pollution, be a place that nature and the animal can thrive with the city. So small park and then again like if we can like find more, and then we can do that kind of principle like from like small project, it can be like be a nominal effect into the city, right? And then one project can be three project can be 1,000 projects in the city, and then the city can be healthier and stronger, and then like people can understand it more, and then empowering the people is very important. Once the people is already know or aware of this kind of project or process, and then the city is very strong in the end, that the city is going to be like end up a very strong and healthy city in the end. Okay, I think that's kind of project and principle that we have to in terms of public space and urban revitalization. Thank you, Kak.
Thank you very much, Phat, for that insightful presentation on urban revitalization and reclaiming dead spaces. We appreciate how in-depth the presentation was, showcasing principles to processes and then to results. We will now proceed to the question and answer portion of our seminar.
So this is an opportunity for us to further explore the ideas and strategies behind urban revitalization and how they can be applied in real communities. So first, we would like to raise some questions from our group first. So the first questions would be like, in high density urban project, how would you prioritize the key goals such as the health, well-being, communities, inclusion, biodiversity, water management, and the circularity?
Okay, I think to talk about like the approach or the principle, I think we have to understand like the context first. I think the context of the city is the priority like things that we have to look into it, because in different like place in the city, right, even like in the high density or low density, have their own like problem, have their own like context. So in order to define like the right solutions, what the space or public space can be, you have to understand that context or constraint first. Sometimes like the space in the urban area like face a lot of problem of like flooding area. So we might have to choose the two that focus on like holistic water management, or if like the projects that situated in like high density area but lack of like community like engagement, we have to find the solution or use the tool for improve or enhance the urban engagement by community inclusivity or something like that. Or even if like projects like in that context is have no green area at all, it's very harsh, it's very gray, it's not good for the biodiversity, we have to find a way to improve that biodiversity by increasing like green area, something like that. So I think those kind of like uh, strategy and tools have to come from like the context of the project itself. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we do agree with what you said, like with how you concluded. You mentioned that we cannot just duplicate a solution to every context.
Yeah.
So it's a really insightful opinion. And I think that with those sustainable index of your company would also be nice as a standard for us, even as students. Moving forward to the next question, based on your experience with both government and private projects, which stage of the design process is the most critical or challenging?
Okay. I think every project has their own like difficulty, right? And then I think we can really like define which is like the more challenging than another one, because again, like different projects have their different approach, or maybe they're facing like a different like problem. Sometimes the problem can become like in the early stage. Sometimes it can become like after stage when you constructing something, but maybe like something happened. But I think majority, I can say that the stage is quite most critical and challenging is the pre-stage, because I think this is like the beginning of everything. The P stage is is a stage that we before we go into like the design process, right? When you are going to the site visit, do something analysis, make like the participatory with like the stakeholder that I have already explained through the project that we have done. I think this project is quite like critical, like very important. So I think sometimes if you do like do the right thing in the right in the beginning, so I think the project tend to be have like smoother than the other projects, because we have understand that kind of problem, have understand the client, have understand the challenging. So the pre-state is quite like critical thing, I would say, to be like the key element that can confirm like not confirm, but that can like really like make the project successful in the long run.
So thank you for your answer. So before we moving to the questions from the comment section, we have another question from our group. So how do you plan for long-term maintenance when designing public space to ensure they remain active and will use over time?
Okay, I think to talk about the long-term maintenance or maintenance, I think, of course, as our designers, you can not just only the design and then you just go out. I think the good design, the good designer have to be think after that as well, the post process as well. Sometimes you can do and you can achieve during through like the selection or design thinking, right? Like use like the durable material, for example, like make the public space that can like can be less maintenance, or like do something is very easy to like replace or repair, something like that. But I think if we talk about the public space, the most important tools is the people. I think the people where that I have already explained. I think those is very powerful and very important things. And once you make them be a part of the projects, be of them, engage them, be a part of projects, and give them like the sense of belonging. They're gonna be the people. They're gonna be someone that who like keep like maintenance the space like entirely eternities. So because they're gonna think like this project is their own projects. They're gonna be the one that help you to maintain to the projects. I think that is quite important when we talk about the public space.
Yeah, I think it was interesting that you always put co-creation as a part of your process. And yeah, it makes sense that the people would be interested in it because they were also part of designing it. And now we will move forward to the audience comments. So the question is, how should a firm balance professional recognition with meeting the everyday needs of the communities who use the spaces?
Tough. Okay, so I think to talk about balancing like professional recognition, like community needs, right? I think those kind of thing in our company. I will talk in our company, right? In our like design philosophy, we have the same value, same share value, which is like we design based on people. We design on like based on like people needs. So I think those kind of things, because we use that as a backbone when we designing everything. So our like professional recognition, every project that we have done talk about the people, talk about the society, and then if you match with like the everyday needs of the people or community, I think those kind of thing is very important. Again, because like we don't do the project by the aesthetic base. We not do the projects like just like make the very beautiful photographic like image that can be posted, but we really like design the projects based on people needs, community needs, or even like the biodiversity needs. So those kind of thing is speak itself in terms of the community needs. So I think in the way it's balance itself.
Yes, our group also agree with the answer that balancing between the iconic design and the practicality of the real life, also like giving the advantage to the how it can be really used in real life of the company. So the next question from the audience. So as you mentioned about the participation from the communities, I'm wondering how do you usually gather people to participate? Is there any proposal done or any process to invite them?
Okay, I think there's different like approach, different way. So sometimes we go with the government sectors, which is like they have like they call like the community like what's say the community leaders that be a part of that. So they work closely with the government through like the Department of like Public Health or something like that, and then there be like someone that in charge of that community. So we talk with like the leaders of the community, and then the leader going to be the one that helping us through that kind of process. And then they invite to the people. Sometimes we just like don't have that the community leaders. So I think you have seen in our project that we have them. Sometimes we just hold the event that we just like host some events and then spread the news to the community nearby, and then they just come to join us and then be a part of our like process, something like that. So I think different approach, different situations. Yeah.
I think the fact that you mentioned that even if you just post and people come, it's interesting because that means the people are really willing to participate in projects like this that would also help like benefit them in the future. And then we will go to the next question. So it's from Nay. He mentioned, is it always necessary to revitalize dead spaces, or should some be left intentionally unused?
I think it's I think to answer this, I think have to understand the context. As I already explained, like revitalize sometimes like it really helps if that space is part of like the space that have impact to the community, right? So if this space is really like live backend, that a lot of the community live nearby, and then this can be harmful space for the community if we just keep it backend or something like that. Definitely we have to make it space more like inviting, be a part of the process. But if this space is like somewhere be a part of like ecosystem, so for example, sometimes I think better not to design anything, nor because in the end we might end up to destroy another thing, something like that. So I think this question is depends on the context as well. Sometimes like we don't have to design anything, just like make the nature grow, for example, or something like that. So yeah.
So that's all of the questions from the comment section. So we appreciate about the questions and from the answer.
So yeah, thank you to everyone who shared their questions and insights during this discussion. We sincerely appreciate the knowledge and experiences shared by our speaker today. Their work reminds us that revitalizing underutilized spaces can create stronger, safer, and more connected communities.
You're welcome.
So today's discussions remind us that the urban revitalizations is not only about the redesigning space, that about creating places that are sustainable, inclusive, and meaningful for the communities who use them. And as the future architects, we place the roles in shaping cities that respond to real needs and challenge.
We would like to express again our sincere gratitude to our guest speaker, Mr. Phat Chapanon, for sharing his valuable knowledge and insights with us today. Your presentation definitely set a standard for us to follow, even when designing our own projects, no matter which scale it could be. And we also thank our faculty members and everyone who joined this seminar.
So this concludes our seminar on urban revitalization and reclaiming their space. So thank you very much for your time and attention, and wish you all have a pleasant day.
Thank you, Carl. You're welcome. Okay.
Mm-hmm.